going to work. Okay, so what you probably should do in your notebooks is, like right now, you would put in the corner somewhere, you'd put 1.1 notes. You can put the date if you want. Make sure you put the section, because nothing irritates me more. Well, very few things irritate me more. If you are missing an assignment and you go, well, I know I did it, it's in here somewhere, and it's not labeled. And then you're just wasting my time and your time. Give me a second. Okay. Get organized. Okay. Do things right. Okay. Here's where you'll take all the notes, blah, 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 blah. This is where definitions will go that I'll show you in a sec, give you in a second. And then when you're done with your notes and your examples, then you can do your homework assignment. And this is where you'll go 1.1 and you'll write down 2 through 520 even, or whatever I'm giving you. Okay? Make sense? All right. So on that note, okay, my favorite part of this lesson is that, hang on, give me a second. Again, it has to do, and the only time, my favorite part about geometry is, look where it says key idea at the very top of page 4. Okay. And the first thing it tells you, it starts out the year is, believe it, mathematically, there are terms that are undefinable. And kids go, how the heck does that even happen? How can something be undefinable? Well, then you talk about it, okay? How do you define a point? Mathematical point. How do you define that? Huh?
Its location. Right?
That on a map it could be.
Oh,
But just a point period. It could be a point, a general point. How is that definable? How is a line definable? Okay, how is a line segment definable? So, or plane. How many of you, now we're not talking about the airplane, right? So in math, a plane, and again, just bear with me. This section is, I gotta be close to here so you can hear me. This section just talks about definitions of geometry. Okay, this whole chapter is basically just fundamentals of geometry. And then we can move past and get going and do some real math. So you just gotta bear with me. It's my least favorite chapter in the history of math. But we gotta struggle to get through it, because again, and you're going to hear me say this 1,000 times, math is a foreign language. If the more higher you go in math, if you don't speak math and you don't know math vocabulary, you're going to struggle. Okay, it's no different than some of the first things you learn in Spanish or any foreign language is vocabulary, correct? It's no different. If you don't know what they mean, you're going to struggle with the language. Okay, it's hard to do a math test if it says solve the radical and you're like going, what the heck's a radical? Right? So we've got to learn definitions, we've got to use terminology, yes.
so does that mean I'm trilingual then?
Maybe. Could be. In my book, if you speak math, you're in good shape. So I don't care how you define point, line, plane. The hardest one is, everybody has a good idea what a point is. Everybody in their mind has a good idea what a line is. What they struggle with is what a plane is. A plane is, I'm going to finish my lesson before all these questions. Okay? A plane is any flat surface that goes on forever this way and goes on forever this way. That's a plane. Okay? Any flat surface that goes on left and right, up, forward and backwards, that's a plane. It's two-dimensional. What is two-dimensional? And kids struggle with this idea. What's the difference between two-dimensional and three-dimensional? Well, duh, it's one dimension. Okay? If you find area of a rectangle, is that a two-dimensional measurement or is that a three-dimensional measurement? Why is it two-dimensional?
Because it's a flat.
Okay, it is. And what are the dimensions? When you find the area of a rectangle, what's the dimensions? What's the formula for area of a rectangle? Width times height, length times height, whatever you want to call it. How many letters are there? Width times height. There's 2. That's why it's two-dimensional. What if I want to do volume of a box? How do you find volume of a box? No. What is it? Length times width times height. How many dimensions are there? That's why it's three-dimensional. Okay? Planes are two-dimensional. Okay, and we can talk about things, and I'm going to let you write your own notes here in just a second because, okay, we're going to talk about things. So if you want to draw, if it asks you to draw a plane on your homework, basically you draw a parallelogram is all you do. Something like that. Okay, that's how they draw a plane. And you can label a plane. You can label a plane by a capital letter, like I want to call this plane P. Oops. Plane P. Or I could pick any 3 dots in there, 3 points. Maybe this is point A, this is point B, this is point C. So I could call that plane ABC, or I could call it plane P. It's the same thing. Okay. And then we can talk about lines. What's the difference between lines and line segments? What is it?
A line goes on forever and ever in both ways.
Both ways. What's a line segment do?
A line segment is a part of a line, so it stops.
On both sides. So this is a line segment. Okay. This is a line. Okay. If I said this, I have point A, point B, point C. Okay. I could call this, now make sure on a test, because I'm going to take off points, if it asks you to name, this line. There's lots of ways. To name a line, you just need 2 points. Okay? I could name this, and to write that, I would put a little line symbol, and I could call this line AB. I could call this line BC. I could call this line CB. I could call this line AC. I could call, you get the point, CA. It doesn't matter what letters come first because the line goes both directions forever and ever and ever. But if I said name this line and you just put a segment and called it AB, I would take half off on the test. Because that's not the symbol for a line, that's the symbol for a line segment. Okay? If I ask you to name, 3 different line segments in that line right there. Okay? I want to pick someone beside you. I appreciate I just want to pick other people too. Someone give me 1 line segment that's a part of that line. What is it?
AB.
AB. So I could have said, okay, line segment. So I draw a line segment and I put AB. What's another line segment that's a part of that line?
BC.
Carly? BC. What's another one? What?
ABC.
Only use 2 points. But you're on the right track. Yeah, Cord?
AC.
AC. Those are all different line segments. Okay? And then we can talk about rays. What's a ray? What's a ray?
It's like a line, but it only goes forever in one direction.
Okay, so it has a starting point. So, okay, you always list the starting point first and then the direction it's going second. So, if I had this and I called this D and this F, and yes, I skipped E on purpose because E is an actual number that you'll learn about in advanced math later on. You know, like pi is an actual number, 3.141592, blah, blah, blah. E is an actual number that you'll find out, and it has to do with interest rates and things. Okay, that's a couple years from now. So I usually don't use E just for that reason, force of habit when I was going to college. Okay, so if I wanted to name this ray, I would name this ray arrow on one side, and I would call it DF, and that's the only way you can name it. You cannot use FD, because you always, the first letter has to be the starting point, and then the direction it's going. Yes, sir.
Well, maybe the ray will get made fun of at school if it has a name like DF, so maybe we should name it something like
Maybe we could. All right, so if I'm looking at this right here, someone name a ray that's part of this line.
BC.
BC. That means it starts at B and goes through C. I would agree with that. Let me ask you this. Is ray BC and ray CB the same thing? No, because BC goes this way and CB starts here and goes that way. Okay? And then we can get into all sorts of fun things, right? So if I ask you, if you had line, let's see if you could draw this first. I want you to draw a picture of line AB intersecting plane, my handwriting sucks, just so you know, I should have been a doctor. Plane P at point G. See if you can draw a picture of what that would look like in your notes. What would that look like? Okay, just draw. I'm going to come around and look, say yay or nay. Just try and do it. Draw line AB intersecting plane P at point G. What would that look like? Okay, go ahead and do it. And when you have it, raise your hand. I'll come look. Here's where I would have drawn, how did I tell you to draw a plane? With a parallelogram. That's the first thing I would have done. Okay. Now, second thing I would have done is, okay, does it have to intersect at a corner, or I would think of this as, in my mind, can you imagine a pencil is my line and a piece of paper is my plane? Okay. What would that look like? Where would they intersect at? What would that point of intersect? I just gave the answer. It'd be a point, right? This is my piece of, ignore the crooked fingers, sorry, can't straighten them. That's what happened last year when I went through the window and severed everything. I don't know if you all know this story or not. But anyway, so I can't straighten my fingers, but pretend they're straight, okay? If I had a pencil and I put it through my paper, it'd kind of look like that, or it kind of look like that, or it kind of look like that, or like that, right? So where does this pencil intersect the plane at? Well, what is that called? It's a point, right? So if I drew this, what I would have done is I would have made a straight line, and let's say I said it intersected right here, and that would be my point G, and I understand that this is a line, and it doesn't matter where A and B is. A could be up here, B could be up here. Some of you did this, and I said I'm going to make it better. What I would have done to make it better, I would have done, I need to make that a little bit bigger. I maybe would have done this. What does making that dotted mean? What does it mean?
It means it's behind the thing.
That you couldn't see it, right? I mean, the plane is covering it up, right? And that's what it means. And it shows up better that way. So something to think about. Okay? Yes, sir.
Well, what if the line was on?
I said it only intersected at point G. If I drew it, and I understand what you're saying, I don't know what that's doing. Stop. Go away. Siri, go away. Thank you. You know, if I'd have drawn it this way, how many points of intersection would there be? An infinite amount, right? Isn't this point on the plane? 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 Doesn't this plane keep going forever and ever this way and this way? Doesn't the line keep going forever and ever this? So there'd be an infinite amount of intersection points. Okay? All right, really, for the most part, that's all I'm going to cover because there's more stuff in here, but here's what I'm going to have you do. Okay, for the next 3 or 4 minutes, part of advanced math is being able to take notes, not just in math, but in any class, right? When you get to college, if you're going to college, and again, I'm not pushing college in any way, shape, or form. Okay, but if you choose to go to college or even advanced classes here, part of the success you're going to have is how well do you take notes. And take notes doesn't mean writing every single thing that's in the book, right? Okay. Figuring out what to write down. So like today, what I want you to do is I want you to go through this, and there's obviously vocabulary words. Do I expect you to write down vocabulary words that you already know the definition to? No. Why would you waste your time doing that? It makes no sense to me. So I want you to go through, put the bold for the highlighted words, whatever they do here, bold print words. Put those and those definitions in your notes, not your note cards, in your notes. Okay, just the ones that you think you need to write down to remember. If you already know them, don't waste your time. That would be stupid. Okay, so I'm going to give you 3 or 4 minutes to do that real quick. So, section 1.1. Let's do. Yes, please. Let's just go 2 through 34 even. Okay, even. Now, again, I say you have to show your work. There's a lot of stuff here you can't show your work on, right? I mean, I'm not asking you to solve 3x squared minus x minus 2, right? Where you have to show your work. So I understand that a lot of this you can't show your work. That's why I'm giving you the evens, because the answers are not in the back of the book. Okay? So, all right, so tomorrow when you walk in, make sure you walk in, you have your assignment open. I'm going to come around and check it so we know. All right? Don't come without it done.
What page?
Okay. You don't have to write the page number as long as they know section 1.1. I mean, you can write for you it's section 1. It starts on page 8. But
The 1.1 practice?
so 1.1 practice, page 8. Yep. 2 through whatever I said, 34 even.